Representatives of the Allied states of Ukraine arrived in Kyiv on the eve of Independence Day to participate in the third summit of the Crimea Platform. Some visits can be called historical. For the first time in 22 years, the president of Portugal visited Ukraine.
We condemn Russia's illegal actions and occupation of Crimea and Sevastopol. It is impossible to separate the issue of the occupation of Crimea from a full-scale invasion. Any attempt to do so only hinders the end of the war and the restoration of the territorial integrity of Ukraine. And this is the main task now both for Ukraine and for all other states. For Portugal too, even though we are far to the west, our border, the border of Portugal, is today the border of Ukraine.
In his opening speech, President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky spoke about human rights violations in Crimea, temporarily occupied by Russia. Occupation authorities illegally keep citizens of Ukraine in custody. They are persecuted for political, religious reasons, and even simply on a national basis. Representatives of Kyiv's allied states and international organizations spoke about the problems of global food security, ecology on the peninsula temporarily occupied by Russia, and the preservation of Ukraine's cultural and historical heritage. And the Prime Minister of Canada announced the introduction of new sanctions against Moscow.
Canada wants to announce new sanctions against 29 Russian entities and a large number of individuals, including those related to the nuclear sphere. Canada will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine for as long as it takes. Glory to Ukraine. Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada.
An important topic of discussion is the future of Crimea after the occupation. According to President Zelensky, contracts have already been signed with dozens of Western companies to restore the economy. They are ready to start work on the peninsula immediately after the territory is liberated from Russian invaders. And for this, it is necessary to ensure the security of the Crimea.
I have heard some say that it will be just a tourist oasis. It is not true, and no one else will allow the occupation of Crimea. Therefore, the fleet will be in short, and there will be military protection of the Crimea, but Ukrainian.
The Russian threat at sea must be neutralized. To end this, Kyiv is already working to create a new security alliance.
And as for our partners, I'll be honest, I'm holding conversations and diplomats have been tasked with preparing an alliance in the security sphere. Not in defense of NATO. Do not think this is together with the countries of the alliance, the countries of the Black Sea coast, so that we have a joint defense against Russian aggression on the Black and Azov coasts. I would say even more, the Azov, Black and Baltic spaces.
The annual summit of the Crimea Platform does not allow Moscow to consolidate the occupation of the peninsula as status quo in the world. There can be no trade around Crimea, since the peninsula is an integral part of Ukraine. Emina Japarova, First Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, emphasized. And most importantly, Ukraine itself will decide what should be the way of the occupation of Crimea. Reported by Pavel Stelmach, Danilo Kobza, UATV News.